Thanks for coming back. I just hit my quota of 60 minutes. I'm recording on this little app, so sorry about that. I was just talking about why would you fuck with something that works every time in every human for all different cancers, all different stages, because it's not a treatment for cancer. It's a treatment. It's a protocol to get your body into this higher state where cancer can't live. So why would you fuck with that, right? And this is what I can't understand, because it happens to me on a monthly basis, right? One time, 2 people flew, right, across the country to come and see me. I had a restaurant in Noosa. Came and see me at a restaurant in Noosa. Had lunch. We spent some time together, and I went through all this stuff. And then one of them goes back, and I see them sending me stuff going, oh, wow, we've done this. We've bought all this fucking stuff at the farmer's market. We're dancing around the lounge room. We're playing Wii now because I've got this play thing in there. And, like it's, when you're young and you're playing in that energy, you can't tapping into that sort of stuff. Well, there's all this stuff, right? And I'm like, yeah, it's got to be this diet, it's got to be that, got to be that, got to be that, got to be that. Boom. Unbelievable. That person, full remission, never have cancer again, but no one in their family will ever have cancer again. No one in the whole family. And it started, see, that's a legacy, right? That is changing the world from that person onwards, from that little seed, from that little thing. Meanwhile, just down the road, there's someone else that flew up that is no longer with us. And now that breaks my heart, to actually meet someone, know someone, share with them, explain the finer points that please know that this has all got to be done. And that person looked at it and said, that can't help. Didn't believe in it, right? No belief. And then started to pick and choose parts that they wanted to do. So they chose to do the happy stuff. They chose not to eat that diet. Diet's the most important part of it. That person is no longer here, guys. They have kids, they have a partner, they have a family. And I had to watch everyone go through the pain of losing someone who was so beautiful as well. So it's just a waste. So if it's not anything to do with medicine, it's not something even a doctor could do. It's natural. There's no risk. It's complementary. You can do it side by side, whatever other treatment, chemo, radiation, whatever else you're doing, you can do it side by side. The things, it doesn't matter if you are not, I suppose if you're not sick, and you do it, you're going to get yourself into a state of homeostasis. Your cognitive function is going to go 30-40% more. Your energy levels are going to go up. Skin will clear up. Your weight will drop off. So either way, even if you're not sick and you do this, you improve your life out of sight. Out of sight. So there's a list of unnatural things for a natural system across the body, the mind and the soul that you're doing to yourself. A lot of them you're doing every single day, and that's why in the protocols there's a lot of change. You're not going to get any growth, any improvement if you don't change anything, right? Now we're talking just basic mathematics, right? We understand that. We understand that if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. We need to interrupt whatever's going on here in an impactful way. We're not talking about subtly having a little, a juice cleanse and a lie down here. We're talking about shaking the whole thing up. We're talking about shaking you up. We're talking about, getting you to ask some questions. If I had an emotional problem that was making my cancer, thing, what would it be? And even just thinking about that and going through all of the things that have happened in your life, things that you've done, things that other people have done to you, or that have hurt you, and it might not be the cause of your cancer, and the chances are most of the time it's not. But having dealt with that emotional side of yourself that no one ever does, automatically contributes to all the other things collectively that sparks off a healing state in which disease cannot live in this body. That's how simple it is, I guess. So I'm going to go through cancer is caused by unnatural things. There's a whole lot that'll come out eventually, and I don't want to get into it too much too, but there'll be a whole lot of diseases and conditions that'll come out that'll be able to be fixed with using this method, and then there'll be a whole lot of other diseases that come out down the track that'll heal other things like cystic fibrosis, mutated gene diseases, SPG56, a lot of that's a different style. The ones I'm talking about, cancer and chronic anxiety, they're the only ones I've worked with because it's taken me years to do everything. That's what I've had experience in, seen, touched, and am totally and utterly 100% on board, can say hand on heart, works big time. I haven't had time to go and do other stuff. I could go and do other diseases. I could, commit myself now for 6 months, deep dive into a research to go and find the answers to something else. And I know that I would win, but I need to bring some people along for the ride. I need to come back to you guys and get you, share this information with you so that those who do want to heal themselves, because it's getting to a pretty bad state, the world at the moment. People just, it's time, like we can't keep going on and continually playing these games and not having the best possible care for human beings. We're here all paying fucking taxes and, we're towing the line, complying, doing all this stuff, and we get nothing back for it. Where does it, I think all the money that the governments are spending is misappropriated. It's not spent in the best possible way. And why would it? No politician is an economic professor. No politician has any experience in understanding what any human being in their constituent is going through. You know what I mean? They haven't been, they might have one thing, but they're not like, they haven't worked for a multinational company, worked for a small business, had their own small business, had their own bigger business, had a hospitality business, had health problems, had, financial problems, like someone with experience in life to build resilience and to better understand what people are going through. There's none of these fucking politicians have this experience. They're all in it, with an ego to get money and line their own coffers and feed their own ego. And the people which is the reason why they're empowered to, be a representative, to do the right thing with these huge amounts of money And they've just got no fucking, no grip on reality whatsoever. I mean, I heard last week we had an emergency phone rollout thing on our phone where everyone's phone rang at 2:00 on Monday or whatever it was. And then I find out afterwards that cost $120 million to do that. Who the fuck does that when there's 126,000 people homeless in Australia and you go and spend $120 million on that? That's just fucking wrong, mate. That's got, so the governments think they know what they're doing, and they think that the general public is too uninitiated or too, emotional to understand what they're trying to do for everyone and the bigger picture and all the rest of it. But at the end of the day, they're not doing the right thing because we have a cost of life. The results, right? That's what you fucking determine everything on. You don't say, oh, I've got the best fucking business in town, and then you're broke or you got no money in the till. The money in the till determines whether you've got a good business or not on how many fucking people tell you. And it's the same with the government, mate. The results of how you live today determine whether the government's done the right thing to be able to get to this stage. And anyone can make excuses. Big people, successful people, people that fucking are go-getters in life, they don't make excuses for everything. They don't blame it on environment. That's what fucking idiots do. So if we've got a cost of living crisis, homelessness is out of control, 120,000, services are stretched. I've gone out and experienced them all, written a book and fucking done it all. So you can't tell me nothing, mate. I've fucking lived with these fucking people for a year and went and tested all of the services throughout Australia in every different state. And it's fucking terrible. There are no services, mate. It's fucking disgusting. The fact that we have, I go travelling across Australia, I use Airbnb, I go to blocks of 20 units and 18 of them are Airbnb units. The government puts out a university study to say that Airbnb is not affecting the housing crisis in Australia. Fucking bullshit. I call bullshit. I'm staying in places every day that would have been rentals otherwise if there was no such thing as Airbnb. You can't tell me, right? And then you can go to Maps. I don't know if you know, you can go to Airbnb, which the university clearly didn't do, right? What a fucking crock of shit. And they probably got $1 million for that as well. So you get the $1 million for what? To tell you something that someone can do for free by looking on an Airbnb map and map out all the properties and tell me which ones. There's 80% of them would be on the rental market right now. Food has gone up 25% since COVID. My wages haven't gone up 25% since COVID. It's like if someone was trying to keep us in a state of perpetual fucking fear and in a state of survival. They're doing that's what you do. You would have it so that no one knows what the fuck's going on, because if we had the time and everything sort of did calm down and stop, and then we did have time to work out what's going on, we would be able to point the finger right back and make everyone accountable, right, for what they've done. And then half the politicians wouldn't be politicians. And the thing is that we have a lot of broken systems, okay? And I've spoken about this before, and it's not just, with things that have been in relation to me. I'm talking about broken systems everywhere. There's so much money and so much resources being misappropriated that should pick up these people. There should be safety nets. There should be, even in the space that I was living in, being in that mental health space for 10 years, I was still, even though I was sick, I was still testing out those services. I was going to forums. I was a pin-up boy for Beyond Blue. I'd go to state and sit next to the state psychiatrist at government forums to get information as a lived with experienced person, right? I went to and did all different CBT, exposure therapy, all different types. I saw a psychiatrist. I had 3 different mental health plans, right? What happens when you go and see a psychiatrist for 6 weeks and you don't turn up the next week and you've told him that you've had bad thoughts about doing silly stuff? What happens? Nothing. That's it. They give you one call. You don't call. They don't give a fuck. No duty of care. No personalised thing. You're just another number. They're just another fucking profession or a specialist that have fucking, have the God complex, who fucking know everything and completely are more just contributing to the dysfunction that life already is. How fucking stupid is that? If that was me and I had a client, then there would be welfare checks. I would keep ringing. I would go round there. I know they're not in the right headspace. Yeah, they might not be good today. I understand that. Have your mental health day off, but fucking I will still want to hear from you. I don't want to just... This has been years, mate. They've still never... I've got the same number. They've still never called me back. When I was living with homeless people, I rang everyone from outreach, mental health, from hospitals to local government homelessness numbers, went through the process. More than 70% of them, I'm still waiting for a call. You have no idea how bad everything is. And if you did, you wouldn't be just blazingly going to an election and ticking a box to vote for someone. You would be doing your homework and holding them to ransom to improve things. It's just that the things that all these broken systems and all that, they don't affect you or your family and the ones you love. Otherwise, you would be fucking rife. You would be fucking out of control. It's disgusting. And it's everything. I'm just giving you examples of bits and pieces as I go along and things I come across. But it's everywhere. It's through everything. So we have something called cancer. And there is no one in any of the organisations, cancer organisations, or even individuals, right? What do you think happens, and I've done this hundreds of times, what do you think happens when I ring Carrie Bickmore or Rove McManus or someone online? I'm trying to give them information. This is while their partners are still alive, saying, oh, look, I've done this and these people have got exactly what your partner's got and they're still alive today. The terminal, and then they don't want to know. They think I'm a scammer or thing. I'm still waiting for Rove's return call. They don't even call you back. Then you go online and try and make contact and try and help and try and get them stuff, and they just go, no, not even open your fucking messages. Those people are no longer with us. That's happened hundreds of times over the last 8 years. Crazy, huh? People, when this comes out, how many people are going to be kicking themselves? How many people are going to be going, Even if someone came to me and said, oh, look, I've got the acute cancer, even if I didn't believe them, I'd still go, show me. what do you got? So you've got a disease that's caused by things that you do every day and you don't know you're doing them, and they're interwoven into daily life. And if you really wanted to, you could almost work out, based on your life's trajectory, what you do, how you do it, what cancer you're going to get, where it's going to be, what type of cancer it's going to be, and how aggressive it's going to be. The protocol for cancer is almost identical to the protocol for chronic anxiety. It's the same sort of full spectrum. Do the protocol, naturally align, it goes up and it heals, because cancer can't survive in these higher states where, it's just impossible. Very similar, but it's just, instead of doing a 14-day intensive, it's do a 28-day intensive, right? And then after the 28 days, let's adjust and work out what we're going to keep, hang on to, and what we're going to go back to normal life. Okay, so we might not stick with the full diet. We might, I'll give you an example. So one lady had stage 4 cancer in the lung or stomach, and where was it? Lung, stomach, and brain. So she goes full on for 28 days. She does the 14-day protocol double, right? So there's a list of do's and don'ts, no social media, no phone, no, you can make a phone call, whatever, but no anything that can mess with your dopamine hits and stuff with your brain and all the rest of it. So it's a naturally aligning, no toxins, it's organic, no chemicals, no electromagnetic field. It's basically, it's full on. The biggest part is the diet. You do the diet, and then after 28 days, you go back to your doctor, you have your tests or whatever, and you go, right, it's fucking fixing it big time. So then you can decide what things you want to keep. And obviously there's a bit to do with mood and having fun and the inner child and all that sort of stuff. And everyone, you want to keep that. It feels good. But most people after that, the diet is very hard to do long term because of the, it's completely different to anything that you've done so far. So a lot of people go, all right, we're going to go back to normal, but we're going to eat like this on Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. We're going to hang on to this mood. We're going to do the grounding. We're going to hold on to the frequency, the water healing. But at least that way, most of their diet gets back to their old diet. They probably make some better choices with their diet as far as organic or not so much processed and heavy, and also the ratios. You might be 80% fruit and veg and peppered with 20% meat, flavoured with the meat, I guess, as such, a little bit different. So basically what you're doing then is you do that for a month, and then you have a look and you go, oh, it's still improving. Okay, I'm happy to keep going with this for another month. You know what I mean? It's a look and see sort of a thing. But at any stage, if that if it comes back, you can just go on to the intensive protocols. It hasn't never got worse, even and the people that have had the really aggressive types of cancers that traditional treatment's not, because these people are obviously easy choice for them to come to me, even though it's risk-free and all the rest of it. But if all their traditional is not working and it's still growing and becoming really bad and it's looking thingo. Sometimes I need to, because you've got, body, mind and soul, right? Sometimes the mind can take over and can make things worse. So as that's getting more aggressive, you need to be able to work, getting mental resilience to be able to make sure that that person's waking up every day going, I am well. I am, because that's the energy that we're looking for, not I am sick, I am getting worse, I am, you know what I mean? And that's just the mental part of it. It's all in there in the program. It's on my website. It's not released yet. It's under Homeostatic Alignment Protocol 2. It's, as I said, it's similar to the first protocol, longer, a lot more mood orientated. Everything else is pretty much the same, just twice as long. What's involved in, say, the first 28 days. So the diet is a plant-based diet. Okay, it's a vegan diet. I don't know why. I don't know how. I've looked into some of the reasons why. Obviously, a vegan diet, normally when you eat meat, your body makes the meat into amino acids, then uses those amino acids. When you eat a plant-based diet, there's no processing. You just take the amino acids straight from the foods. It's a lot less energy required to process. If we look back through history prior to Noah and the floods, we're all vegans. Okay. It's a diet that, the first reason why I started looking at this diet was that it was the highest cell regenerative diet. And I looked at some different studies, some different people that had done it, and the scientists, and then I went, okay, that's interesting. Then I started developing a balanced diet because obviously you've taken the energy away, a lot easier, and then I obviously did a bit of experimentation, but on the plant-based diet, you're shitting out pot puree, mate. It smells fantastic. Everything works better, digestion, no fucking thingos, and I'm like, shit, this is really gentle on the system. It's thingo, you get a lot of energy. Obviously, the biggest thing with the plant-based diet is having enough fibre. You don't want to get fucking leaky gut and have a watery ass. And some people, worry about protein, but there seems to be protein in everything. And I think mentally you can actually, like we all do when we're addicted to something, when you're addicted to meat and processed foods and you go onto a plant-based diet, then your brain will make excuses if you're addicted to it, right? It's like when I was addicted to smoking marijuana, my brain would make excuses, or this, or I'd have a shit day and this and go, oh no, that's it. Or no, I'm putting on too much weight, I need to go and get a smoke. We can always do that, okay? Addiction's part of the problem why, people aren't lining up in droves to trial these protocols. Because if you're sick and you have to line up and stop doing things that you rely on every day to bring you down, whether it be a beer or a cigarette, and you can't stop that, then, or stopping that terrifies you, then the chances are you're more likely to stay sick than you are to put yourself in an uncomfortable situation for 14 days. That's what I've experienced with the chronic anxiety people that come along. They're like, I smoke it, and I go, look, I was the same. That's why I've put certain compounds into the system to allow for the withdrawals and bits and pieces and da-da-da, and they go, oh, no, I'm all right, mate, thanks. So human beings, even when presented with the answer will still be sick. That got me in a bad mood, right? I was in a bad mood. You'd be in a bad mood too if you'd come up with the first discovery in the whole world that cured an incurable disease. First person ever in history. No one's ever done it before. They've done eradication, they've done vaccines, but no one has ever put a plan together that continually cures the same incurable disease except for me on this whole fucking planet. So imagine you do that, and then you've got all these people start coming, oh my God, and friends and people I know and partners, and they're all lining up. And then one by one, they're all going, no, I can't give that up. I can't put that down. I can't, no. No matter what I did, no matter what I said, couldn't. So I then started challenging myself. I think after the third one, I was like, this is years ago. And I did it last year as well. I went, that's it. I'm going on a natural diet. No processed food, no sugars, no sugar. I don't eat soft drinks. I'll have a kombucha now and then with fucking, I think 6 calories or something ridiculous, whatever. That's my fucking treat. Now, knowing that your biology is easily hacked with a little bit of sugar, a little bit of Maillard, a bit of, toasted bread, that's so addictive for us human beings. So we don't know that we have actually caused a lot of the problems with some of these diseases that I'm talking about. We are the problem. We are the problem. Now, would anyone else out of the 8 billion people that are on this planet just wake up out of the blue one day and go, I'm going to send myself into absolute withdrawal, chaotics. I'm going to, as of tomorrow, I'm not going to eat meat. I'm not going to eat sugar. I'm not going to eat anything processed. I'm only going to, one time I ate fruit for 3 weeks. Then who would put themselves into that uncomfortable situation if they didn't have to, for no reason? Who would do that? No one. Because as I said at the start of this, there's an identity crisis on Earth at the moment. Most human beings are actually products of not their environment, but products of their culture, and not products of themselves. And as I say, the reactions, the things you say aren't your own. You take in everything that you know through your 5 senses. And some things you see off to the side and you go, I'll take that as a sub-belief because it looks good, it feels good, I want to be that, I want to do that, I want to think. And you basically have no idea who you actually are. You've got fears and insecurities and things that you avoid. You've avoided them all your life. But to be the true self, to be a man, to be a woman, to show up for yourself, to have accountability, is to go, I'm going to work out why that fucking is fearful and why that I'm sensitive to that by sitting in that pain until I transmute it and get rid of it. I'm going to understand it to a point. And then you just keep going through and dealing with shit, and then there's nothing left, and you're left with the true self, which is then you making a decision which is not based on your addiction. You're making a decision not based on what someone else thinks of you or you want or you've been conditioned to do. You're making the decision based on what's best for you and the world at that time. Completely different world. Completely different world. But the way the world's meant to be. We're not meant to be the way we are. We're not meant to be all sick, highly taxed, and living in a world that's so politically incorrect. Like, I can't even talk to anyone about some of the stuff that I do, because you're all asleep. If I go to, and what I mean by sleep is not to be asleep, is to be aware of the world that is around you and live in, but you are quite happy to let everyone else do the work for you and to work everything out, and you'll just take whatever's left, and that's what you're doing by not taking an interest in anything but whatever it is you want to do. We live in a very selfish culture where if you actually stood back and just watched someone, it'd just sound like this: me, 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 me. Most of the times when someone's asking you a question, it's more about them than it is you. We are extremely self-absorbed, and there is a real problem with authenticity. There's no one's being genuine, and it is what it is. There's a reason for it, and it is what it is, but it's not always going to be. And obviously you can't fix something unless you know what's causing it, but also you can't fix it unless it gets to rock bottom first, and that's where we are at the moment. So we're talking about cancer. So I hope I've explained to you enough about where the causes come from. Those 100 plus things, unnatural things that we do into a natural body. Now, we get to a thing now which I will explain to you. It's called the dispositional index. If you don't understand this, send me a message on this podcast and just say, mate, explain it more, because I think that I do a very good job at communicating and explaining things, but sometimes I get the most stupidest emails from people. I'm like, but just like, because they haven't read it. Fucking read it first and then send me the question. Don't ask me the question and get me to do the work for you. That's so common in life, right? We're so used to going to someone else to tell us what's going on with us, whereas we've got to take accountability somewhere along the line, and it should be now. So we've got what we call a dispositional index. Okay, so from all those good things on the list and the bad things on the list, they balance out. Some of them do balance themselves out, but at the end of the day, you've been doing 17 of these things at this toxicity level over 17 years, and your dispositional index is 45. Say your full dispositional index is 100. You working at optimum, being in homeostasis, is 100. You're at 45. At 45, cancer can get in. At 85, cancer can't get in. At 45, chronic anxiety can get in. At 65, chronic anxiety can't get in. Does that make sense? We have been wearing and tearing on our immune systems, on our biology, on our dysfunction of our chemical disbursement station, on our soul, our mental anguish. We have been micro fucking twisting chemicals out of place and everything. And we've been consistently wearing ourselves down to be a lesser version of who we could be in health. And that's called our dispositional index. Now, with the dispositional index, you could have 20 things that you've been doing for 25 years that have brought your dispositional index down, and you still might not have cancer. But then if you get a whole lot more of these lists and then you bring it over, then you can get cancer. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to work with facts and reverse engineer it. So we're trying to say, okay, we all know that you heal, right? You cut yourself, it heals. You have an operation. Everything is geared towards healing. Every single thing in your body always is towards healing, right? That's the yin and the yang. You can go one way or the other. So we're already doing it. But what happens when you get your body into this other state is it heals cancers, because it's a full body spectrum healing. It's fixing the body at the root cause, right? And it's like my chronic anxiety. In 2018, I healed myself in 14 days, doing the same thing for 14 days, like force feeding a chicken, right? Every day on the hour, boom. Juice, drops, elixir, smoothie, lunch, afternoon tea, dinner, snacks, frequency, water therapy, chia pudding, there was grounding, all that stuff for 14 days, the same thing. Every day, no social media, no fucking porn, nothing unnatural, right? Naturally aligning, right? On day 8, my body rejects this medicine that I've been taking for 10 years. I'm freaking out. I keep trying to take it and it keeps throwing it up. I just give it up. I go to the 14 days. On the 15th day, I go to Hungry Jack's. Within a week, I think I was smoking again. Within 2 weeks, I'm drinking again, and I start going back to the normal life. Because that's what our biology does. It's very hard to, even though I felt amazing, I had this love wash, I had energy. I felt something that I've never, ever felt before in my whole entire life that was so magical. And I still went back to the bad stuff, because that's what I've been used to for 30 years, right? It took me a few times, on again, off again, on, to get to a point now where I'm off it again. But fully off it, can't get back on it. Had it, could not a few years ago. Had it with cigarettes and went, all right, I'm done now. And I'm seriously done. I couldn't, people, for all those years trying to give up, on again, off again, all the things I went through, the days where I was fucking climbing the walls, trying to give up one night, making excuses the next day, going back on there, doing it all, boom, all gone. Don't ever worry about it now. So then I was like, oh, is this going to come back? Is this, you know what I mean? Like, you'd be freaking out. You're like, I've done this thing, I've healed myself, and now I'm like, oh shit, it's going to come back. Then I've had to go and work out what I've done, because I've got these, I did that in 4 months, but then I was like, well, it's worked. Now what's going on? So when it comes to cancer, if you naturally align, you can't not get better. It can't not reverse your cancer, no matter what it is, no matter how it is. It's like I've wedged all of these parts of these protocols up against laws of the universe that we know can't be manipulated and changes, so therefore we can rely on them like clockwork. The way that we need to look at it. I mean, look, doctors are never going to be able to do or talk to you about what I'm talking to you about. It's not in the framework for the school, what they learn. It's just not done, right? And while you've been to school for 14 years and had 14 years of repetition to train you to be compliant, now you can't critically think. So you can't even think for yourself to go, oh yeah, you're right. Why are we doing this? Why do we do this? Why don't I question that? Why don't I do that? Oh, I'm sick. I've got cancer. And then you can't even help yourself to get out of it. Okay? I'm giving you a mathematical formula that is certainty. If you do this full protocol in full and have any cancer in any stage and it doesn't work, then be careful, because planes will fall out of the sky because gravity has failed. That's how certain I am of this, because it is based on physics, on natural science. Then everything has been tested and proven. There's no excuses. As someone who has to, you know, when I used to work for Coca-Cola, I was the number one sales rep in my first 3 months, and I'd go in there before I'd even have the meeting, and they go, you know, we're sitting in the car one day with a colleague. He goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "Oh, before I go in, I always think of the top three excuses they're going to give me why I can't sell this in, or why I can't do this, or why I can't do that with their business." And I try and have the excuse, the answer for the excuse before I go in there, which is more impressive, and then you build a bit of trust with them. I've done everything to allow for society, for your brainwashing, for the mainstream media's, lies. I have done everything to develop these to offset everything that you could have thought of, that you would have thought of, that you would have made as an excuse for you to be able to heal yourself. This is an empowering, profound, and once in a lifetime opportunity for anyone that's sick to heal themselves. It doesn't really cost any money. Okay? What I'm saying is, when I had chronic anxiety and I go and do the program, I spent less on food and life in the 2 weeks that I did the program than what I spent in life in normal. Okay, normally I'd be obviously spending meat and beers and cigarettes and da-da-da. All of that's gone. It's quite a simple thing, and it's the same with the cancer reverser. You're basically, there's no outlay. $29 for the protocol, right? Which I think is quite fair for someone who's dedicated their whole life to making humanity a better place by 100-fold for every single person on the planet. I don't think anyone's ever done that before, have they? And look, as I said, all parts are more important than others, and yet I continually, find, and that's why I put things in the program, in the protocol, that help you to install that belief and to understand that you're not going to get any growth if you don't change. Now, belief is something altogether again. Now, remember when I told you about those two people that had cancer and one sort of pick and choose what they wanted or whatever? They didn't believe me. They didn't believe their doctors, because they kept going to the doctor for treatment and then that kept getting more aggressive. So they didn't have any belief. Like, if I had to look at each different person, and as a numerologist who's had 5,500 clients, and just dealing with analysing people's character, positive and negative, and how they react to things and bits and pieces, then I can see that this person was lacking in the belief, which then became a mental anguish, which then mentally they let themselves down. If they were strong in their mind and they woke up and said, "I am well" every day, and when they were presented with things, if they believed that it would work, it would have worked. But that person didn't believe it was going to work. And I guess, to make you understand exactly what I'm saying, I'll tell you the story of Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison came home as a child, and he had a letter, and he said, "Mom, I got told to give you this letter," and And Mum opened the letter, and she starts welling up, and he goes, "What's in it, Mum? What does it say?" And she said, "Oh, dear Mrs. Edison, your son, Thomas, is a genius. He is so brilliant. We don't have the facilities or faculties at the school to teach someone with such brilliance. Please get him some specialised help, keep him home, She kept him home. He became the most prolific patent holder, inventor. I think we all know him for the light bulb and things like that, but he used to have, until Elon came around, he used to have a lot of patents out there. Now, Thomas Edison, his mother passed away about 60 years later. And Thomas had to go and clean out her house. And as he was cleaning out the house, he found this letter. And he opened the letter and it said, "Dear Mrs. Edison, your son is retarded. We can't teach him anything. He will not learn. There is no point sending him to school. He's pretty much expelled. Don't send him to school anymore." Now, because he believed he was a genius, because his mum told him, which is probably even better. If your mum tells you're a genius, she's fucking knows her shit. He thought he was a genius. He became a genius. It's as simple as that. I tell you, I've done this 100 times. I've healed myself. I've done this protocol. I've looked at everything across this whole earth. This is the only way that it can ever be done, whether it's now or in 100 years. And if you believe me and you do it, you heal yourself like everyone else. If you don't believe me, you don't. That's about as simple as it gets. That's how strong a belief can be. I originally found I originally went to the doctor to try and get a reduction in my medicine, which somehow he found out because he had to go to, I think it was Pfizer or one of the other ones, and they said, "Oh, look, no, we recommend that Aaron stays on this drug for the rest of his life. He's been taken for so long." That made me so angry that I went on this quest to find out all this information. If that didn't happen, I probably would have been, still sick. I'm glad I'm not, but also it's not nice out here by yourself. Cancer was something, you have no idea to the lengths that I've gone to previously, even when I was sick and before I was sick, to with cancer. I once had a thing because I was studying different energies and meditation and group meditation and group consciousness, and I thought I'm going to start a day called Thought Day, where we all think about everyone healed of cancer on the same day, and that was in 2015. I think I got one of the old websites and all the rest of it. I lost my grandmother at 2 to cancer, who I was 2 years old, and all my life I grew up and all my family are like, "Oh, your grandmother loved you. She was the most amazing woman. I've never seen a woman so generous, so loving." But you know what I mean? Like, I still haven't come across anyone in this life like that, besides maybe my grandfather. So cancer's everywhere, right? It affects everyone. If we don't know someone that's got cancer, it's not far from us. And so I've always, that time when I was thinking about, Thought Day and thoughtday.com, and I'm going to get everyone this and we'll fix cure for cancer. I had no idea that 3 years later I would be doing a 2-week intensive research that would then give me the grounds to go and trial what I found out about cancer and a protocol for people. And I was helping terminal patients that are all still alive today, and it's nearly 7 years later. It just blows me away. Absolutely blows me away. And now it's your job to spread the news, to help people with cancer. Even if anyone that does this with cancer, if it doesn't improve their health, a plane will fall out of the sky. Do you understand what I'm saying? How definite I am with what I'm saying to you, from evidence-based, from what I've seen. Yeah, you're all conditioned, you're all brainwashed, and here I am with genuine a love of humanity and a gift, and you're rejecting it. I'm not talking about you, but I'm just saying in general, that's what it feels like to me. I'm doing this to give it to the sick people. It's been 8 years. The government doesn't want to know. Organisation, 100 people with their partners that have died of cancer don't want to know. No one wants to know, right? And I guess, I mean, the government and all the rest of it, I understand it's holistic. They just don't know, right? They've said it. They've passed it on to their medical people. They go, no, we can't touch it. It's up to sick people just to do it and heal themselves and free themselves and start this movement that will grow. And we not only fix the biggest problem, health problem of our time, which is cancer, it also then starts, because you are awakened to this, you get to see a lot more things, and you get to see all the cracks, and then we can start filling all the cracks for all the systems, for all the people falling through, for all the people in the communities, all the loved ones, and all the, that we shouldn't have these problems in our society with institutions to come and fix them and to fix that, because life has been so badly conditioned to us through patchwork governments and so-called democracies and freedom, but actually we're at war and we're in this perpetual state of fear. So therefore our family unit has become more dysfunctional than it already is. So therefore our first safety net's not there. Then our second safety net is the government. They can't even keep up. They don't even do things properly. It's even probably best not even to do anything. This is what we have. It's not great, but this is the answer to fix it, and you can be part of it. And I would love for all of you to be part of it. So I'm inviting you right now as an invitation. Pay the $29 for the program. Even if your friend has it, pay the $29. Do you know what else I can do with $29? After doing everything I'm off my own bat with my own money and everything my whole life, no one's given me nothing. I've done 5,500 numerology reading charts for people for free, and I've done all of this for free. I tried to give all of this away for free and no one wanted it. In fact, if I put it on a website for $3,000, I'd probably get one person every couple of months, because they go, wow, it was that price and it's guaranteed, or I may not, But if I give it away for free, no one wants it. So you're paying $29. It's more than worth it for the greatest discovery of our time. Even if you don't need it, pay the $29 and get it for the future family, and to invest in the only guy that is looking out for every 8 billion one of you out there in the world right now, to make your life better, your family, and seriously turn this fucking planet around and get it going and being the beautiful thing that we can be proud of. That's all I want to say. Thanks for listening. It's been a good couple of potties. See you later.